we'll be starting here pretty soon. Just give us a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be making some homemade bread today, talking about our border revision for the Ashtabula County Auditor's Office, how you can challenge your property value here in Ashtabula County this season. But just hold on for a few more minutes. We'll let a couple more folks hop on to watch, and then we'll get started. So hopefully you all enjoyed your New Year's this morning. We actually just got done here with some sauerkraut and some pork. So kind of that traditional stuff that all of us love and know. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll be starting just in a few minutes. So Mom, what are we actually making so that folks know and they can see kind of what we're doing?
So this is one of the easiest breads you'll ever make.
I've never done any of this. This is completely, if you've tuned in before, watched, you know that we've made pizzelles together, talked about the 2020 revaluation in the auditor's office, and then we made sugar cookies in the shape of dog bones, talked about dog licenses, which dog licenses are still going on up until January 31st. So you can still purchase your 2021 dog license. I'm sorry. So what are we doing?
So this is called No Knead Crusty Artisan Bread. And there's literally no kneading involved.
What's kneading mean?
When you grab the dough and you just work in it.
Okay. Huh.
Stress release is
That's why I still have my rings on, so I don't need that. Okay.
All
right. That makes sense.
No, the less you work with this dough, the better off it's going to be. We actually made one. It does take literally 5 minutes to mix it up, that you'll see. But then you let it set for 8 to 24 hours, depending on your schedule. And we made one yesterday and baked it off this morning. It's got the nice crusty top, and you can dip it in your olive oil and seasonings. So very tasty, as David would say.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay, so what, I'm just here making sure that we've got everything up on our video and everything, so we're all set there. So feel free to type in questions as we start talking about just even the bread, but also border revision, what that process looks like, any other questions that you might have for our office. I included the link right there in our video for border revision, so you can learn about it. Oh, that's the oven saying it's done for the baking here pretty soon. But feel free to take a look at that link, read up on border revision, what that process looks like, and we'll be happy to also answer any questions for you today too. So Mom, what are we doing? What's our steps?
So we are going to mix in only 4 different ingredients.
Only 4 for bread.
For bread. So we have flour.
I know yeast is one of them.
Yeast is definitely
because that's like a thing, right, with bread?
Yes, you got to have the yeast so that it begins to rise and bubble. But the active dry yeast, the flour, and salt, but not your typical table salt. It calls for kosher salt. And we actually have the coarse salt, which I was a little concerned about, but it seems to work, just as well as the fine kosher salt. And then, of course, your warm water, lukewarm water. Okay,
and that's for I know a little bit about this because I remember in elementary school science classes about yeast and putting the warm stuff in and watching it grow and different fun things like that.
Yeah, so you can kind of show we made.
So what is this?
This is one that we made yesterday that we let set for almost probably 18 hours, and it was a lot smaller when we started, and it's starting to grow
and expands.
So we'll show you how to get that one ready to put in the Dutch oven to bake.
And this is what we're actually making. And we had some with our pork and sauerkraut today too.
Yes, we did.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what do we need to put in here first?
So we'll start with your 3 cups of flour.
This is just normal flour, or are there other types of flour?
You can use just normal flour.
I just go to the store and buy flour.
We actually, this is
3
bread.
cups, you said?
3 cups.
Okay.
This is Pillsbury bread flour.
The
bread flour does seem to make it a little better, but we've also made it with just regular Pillsbury.
So 3 cups. All right, that's 1.
Yep.
Okay. Now, and 2. So, as I said, border. Oh, am I doing this wrong?
No, I was going to say, just make sure you fill it up.
Okay.
And then.
See,
you got to have it right at the top. Measure it.
I'll do that right again. Okay.
Measurements are.
Yes, measurements are. Well, we are the Office of Weights and Measures, and maybe we'll definitely be talking about gasoline pumps and scales and what our office does for all those too. So that's cup number 2 already. Now, with this being the first of the year, you would have no idea about this. This is really their only second year being homeowners. But January 1st starts the process where you can actually challenge your evaluation. It's called the board revision process, which is a huge kind of piece of our office that works the valuation aspect for property taxes and how that all kind of goes into play to fund some of our local government. So today's the first day that you can actually file for that. And what's next? Just
okay, so then we have
cups?
to do the salt. So we'll go ahead with 2 teaspoons of salt.
Okay,
and again,
put that down.
you don't want to have it heaping. You want to have it kind of leveled out.
You wouldn't think of salt and bread as being something that you.
No.
Oh.
Do
What's wrong with that?
Because when you
I can't. It didn't go in there anyway.
I'm sorry. When you pour the salt in, it's going to spill over, and you're going to end up with too much salt.
You're assuming that I'm not going to do this correctly.
Well, true.
So
I shouldn't have said.
Okay, yeah, you should have assumed it. Okay, so 2 you said.
So you just kind of want to make sure that's leveled off too.
Well,
as best as you can, but there you go.
All this precision.
That's good.
Like I said, I should be used to it, or Jim, I suppose, in our office should be. Why not reuse?
You don't have to reuse.
Yes, you don't want to waste salt. It's
Oh, no.
it's a valuable
That's
void. That's way too much.
that's a little too much.
It's a precious commodity. Whoopsie. Alrighty, so
I don't know how this is going to turn out.
2 tablespoons of salt.
2 teaspoons.
2 teaspoons. Okay. We are going to post up the recipe up here too pretty soon after we're done, so that you can watch as well. The 2 teaspoons of salt.
2 teaspoons of salt. Now, this is the active ingredient.
Okay, yes, the yeast.
The yeast is
Alrighty.
an important element. So this calls for a half a teaspoon.
It looks like fish eggs, or like what you feed fish, like fish pellets.
Okay.
So how much of this? This is half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon.
Just half a teaspoon.
Yeah, and make sure that's leveled off
Yes.
as well.
So
full teaspoon.
yes. So with board revision, I said today's the first day you can file. It's from today up until the last day of March, so March 31st, where you can file your complaint, your belief that our value that we determined through the revaluation here in 2020 is not accurate. So you're looking at what is your property, your home, your business, your farm, your vacant land. What is it worth on January 1st of 2020? And that's important because things change throughout the year. You demolish a building, you build a garage, maybe you have a house fire, unfortunately, or maybe you purchased a home and that changes the value, of course, because we use market sales. So it's really important to remember that we're asking, when you go on our website and you look at the 2020 value, that's the value that our office has determined the market would find for your property as of January 1st of 2020, even though you're paying property taxes this year in 2021 on last year's value. So.
Interesting.
No, but that's warm water.
Okay, yeah, lukewarm water. So you'll want to stir up the salt and the yeast, and before you put the water.
Before I put it in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can just
stir it up with this, right?
Yeah, mix it all up.
It says keep calm and bake on. That sounds good.
Yeah, get that all mixed in. At this point, it's okay to mix as much as you want here, but once the water gets added in.
And we're not using a mixer.
No, the less you mix the dough, the less you mess with it, the better off, the more fluffier the dough is going to be, the softer it's going to be. So you don't want to work it too much once the water's in there.
Okay.
So you just go ahead and pour the water in. You want it to it'll be really shaggy when you're mixing it. It'll just look, you remember like Shaggy Doo and Scooby?
or like carpet?
Or Shaggy Carpet.
So that's probably better.
That's a better illustration.
So I just, with my hands?
Not with your hands.
No, okay.
Again with the spatula.
With this. And just try and...
So you want it to come together without working it too much. Just kind of get it all blended. That's good.
Okay.
Just try to scoop
like
all that flour in
there isn't enough water in this.
It seems like that, but they're really, surprisingly, there is.
This reminds me of the consistency of the sugar cookies that we made last time. And you can always go up on YouTube or on our pages and watch those too to learn about some of the things that we discussed last time too. So of course, with the pandemic, with us encouraging folks not to come to our office, of course we've been open though the entire time for in-person visits. We're an essential service, essential business. We want to make sure that we're there to serve you. Oh, that's good?
Yeah.
Be sure there's some stuff right there. So you can actually file online. That's something that we've done new this year, where you can actually e-file your board revision complaint. Or you can do it by mail, but we all know with the mail right now and some of the issues that they're having, it's probably best to either email it to us, call us before you email or send over your filing, and you can actually do it online. We don't require a notary anymore, just because we're trying to be as quick and easy to serve with the board revision process as possible.
Perfect. So yeah, go ahead and scoop that off, and then at this point you're going to want to cover it with the saran wrap nice and tight, and you'll watch it. It'll begin to get moistened and bubbly as it sets for 8 to 24 hours. So at this point...
So you said this for 8 to 24 hours?
Yep.
Wow.
At this point you're done making the bread, and then you'll see the next step involved in the process before baking.
You would just set this aside. Okay.
Oh, yeah, this sticks. It's not
this.
There you go.
Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
I can't saran wrap things, I guess.
No, it's this.
Oh my.
It's this one.
Okay.
So make sure it's all covered as best as you can.
Perfect.
And it's called resting. We just let it rest 8 to 24 hours. Depending on your schedule, it's ready as early as 8 hours, or let it set up to 24. It takes about 30 minutes to bake it, more like probably 40, because at that point you bake it for 30, you take the lid off, and then you just kind of get it brown on the top. So this can just set out. It just sets on the counter. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. In fact,
which is what this is from yesterday.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you see how it's moist and it kind of came together on its own.
It looks almost like a cake batter.
Yeah. See, if I don't know if you can see it through the camera or not, but he's going to scoop it out, and we're just going to form it into a ball.
On the counter? No,
We're
parchment paper.
Parchment paper.
I once made cookies in college. Instead of using parchment paper, I used wax paper in the oven, and those were horribly tasting cookies.
I hope you didn't taste them.
I did. When I was an RA, and I felt bad.
My.
You could tell my residents liked me because they lied about how bad they were. Okay.
All right, so you'll need some flour. You don't want to over flour it.
Just normal flour?
It's going to be sticky, so just put some flour down on the parchment paper, and then grab your spatula and just dump it out.
Okay.
Right here on the...
So, some of the reasons you might file a board revision complaint, like I said, let's say you sold the property or you bought the property recently, and it's vastly different than what our value was for January 1st of 2020. Let's say that, in our property search, where you can go on our website, you can look at your property information for that exact parcel and see, let's say that we say it's 2,500 square feet, but actually, that's only 2,000 square feet. Well, square feet is a big indication of how we determine value, an average price per square foot for commercial and for residential. And so that would be an excellent reason to file a complaint. Now, these complaints are a formal legal complaint. It's not like our revaluation process where we had those informal discussions. So this is a formal process. You don't need a lawyer or anything like that. We're more than happy to walk you through. It's a very simple form to fill out. It's a very simple kind of step-by-step process that we explain out in our website. But it is a formal procedure, formal hearing style of challenge. Okay, so that was tougher than I thought.
All right, good job. No, not at all.
Okay,
All right,
so on the parchment paper.
Yeah, and at this point, what you want to do is get a little bit of flour on your hands.
Ooh.
And you want to...
On my hands?
Well, you can, put a little bit on your hands. Rub them together, that's good.
Ooh, it's like the morning.
So you want to you can use this tool too if you want. Scoop it up to basically flip over the sides and then form it into a ball.
Like a little package.
Kind of, yeah. And you can stand it up on its side. There you go, turn it over, yep.
Okay, to cover it in flour?
Yeah, you don't want to really
This is a really comfy feeling dough. It's like...
And that's perfect
foam.
Right there. You don't need to do
it?
anything. Actually,
that's it?
Yeah, that looks really pretty good.
Okay.
Center it if you can in the middle, only because we're going to take this whole parchment paper and this ball, and we're going to scoop it up, and you'll see we'll put it right into the center of the Dutch oven.
So what is a Dutch oven?
So a Dutch oven, gosh, how do I explain a Dutch oven? There's all different sizes of Dutch ovens. They're the heavier pot with the lid, pretty deep. They cook food if you do a beef stew or soup. It just, they're super nice.
So I didn't realize, I guess I have one at home. I thought it was just a bowl, a fancy bowl, but it's not.
You can fry in them. I like to put it on the stove.
Well, I didn't think about that.
Fry. Yeah.
I learned something. Okay.
So at this point, it's ready. It's called, again, resting another 30 minutes. And so at this point, we would turn our oven on with our Dutch oven.
To 450.
To 450. It is a
It's
very
hot.
high heat. It cooks for 30 minutes. But at this point, just because of the time's sake, we already have the oven preheated, and we're going to show you how to put it in and what you can do to prepare it prior to that. So you could just get it ready and put it in the oven now, or you can add olive oil and different seasonings on top. It gets a really nice crust to it.
It's hard, but it's not too hard.
Yeah, and then the inside is the soft, airy kind of filling dough. But we like to put olive oil and rosemary and garlic salt on top. So David, you can go ahead and brush some of that on.
So with that form for the board revision that you would fill out, like I said, you can do it at home, you can do it in our office, you can call us and we can walk you through it. After you submit that form, you're essentially saying, hey, your revaluation said that my value as of January 1st, 2020 was $100,000. Well, actually, I think it's only $60,000, and here are the reasons why. And so you would then submit that form formally to us, and there's a different couple of procedures that kind of go through. Our office takes a look at the filings. Now, here's to put some things in perspective. Do I use the olive oil and just
just brush it on there,
fun.
like you're painting.
Okay, that's easy to do. We have 80,000 parcels here in the county. So remember that number, 80,000 parcels of land. Last year, the board revisions every year that you can file to challenge your value, we only had 100 challenges to our values on those 80,000 parcels. So that's very, a low number, very low percentage. This year, because of the revaluation, we have new values out. In past years, we've had anywhere a couple hundred to near 1,000 BOR filings. So there could be quite a bit, but if you think about it, even 1,000 challenges to value with 80,000 parcels, it's a big responsibility to do that revaluation, but our office and our crew with our appraisal firm does a great job. Of course, we make mistakes, we miss things, and that's why the process is there, right? So, so you'll submit that form, our office will review it. There will be times where our appraisers will say, you know what, right off the bat, they're right. Oh, that's you.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I always think the more olive oil, the better, but that's just my kind of life philosophy. Okay, and then just sprinkle on these things.
As much
this is garlic salt and rosemary. Okay. Yeah. They may say, okay, yep, absolutely. We think right off the bat that's correct. And our board of revision, which is myself, the county treasurer, and a rotating county commissioners. This year it's myself, Treasurer Don Cragen, and Commissioner Catherine Whittington. So we would meet and we would agree with our office and our appraisal team saying, okay, we need to decrease or change the value. We actually have already had one person file that say that they want to increase their value, which is perfectly fine. School boards as well, oftentimes will file to increase commercial properties, for example, their value. They think that our values are not quite correct. So let's say our office looks at it real quick, says, okay, we need to do some more investigation, some more work. We may go out and visit your property. We may call you up and say, hey, can we stop by? Can we take a look? 9 times out of 10, residents are very comfortable to have us come in the home even now, take a look at the property. That's usually because there's maybe cracks in the foundation, there's holes in the ceilings. We've seen it all. And we're more than happy to take a better look at the property just to make sure that we've got the correct information. And then after that, after the visit, our office may say, you know what, yep, condition-wise, we agree with you, we're going to decrease that value. And then there's kind of a third option where, even after both of those, we take a look and we say, we just don't quite see it. We have to have the property owner come in, and that's for commercial, that's for farmers, that's for residents, and we need to have you explain why you think your value is different. And that's what's a board revision formal hearing. So that's kind of some of the steps, and I'll talk about the hearing right after. So what do we do with this now?
Okay, so now it is ready to put in the oven.
Ooh, okay.
So I'll open the oven door. What you'll do is just scoop it up.
This is a fun-looking glob of dough.
Just kind of grab the ends of it.
Now watch me drop it.
We're going to plop it right in the center of this kettle.
You can see right into the oven, if you will. My parents have gas here. I have electric at my house. they pay a lot less than utilities.
Okay, it's super hot.
Oh my, it is very hot. So I just literally plop it in.
Just plop it, yep.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
that's fine.
I just plopped it down.
And then now when you preheat it, you preheat it without the lid on.
So you just put the Dutch oven in the oven without the lid on to warm it up for half an hour before you actually put that dough that we made right here, which is now kind of percolating, for 8 to 24 hours. So we just put this at 450 degrees in the oven, preheated oven, for how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. All right. Alexa said timer for 30 minutes.
And 30 minutes. And then after the 30 minutes, you'll take the lid off, and then that's when you'll see, you know, how dark do you want the top of it? Maybe another 8-10 minutes to go.
So it comes out like this. Now for the hearings, it's a very, you know, it can sound a little scary. Like I said, it's a formal process, but I bake cookies for them. We try and do our best, the other two board members as well, in making it as simple of a quick process as possible. Last year we began using some virtual. Even before the pandemic, we had that in mind. This year, if residents are not comfortable coming in person, we absolutely can work with you on a virtual hearing. Usually they're about 15 minutes, and it's essentially where we ask you to present your evidence, your information to us on why you think that property is not worth what we believe it to be. Now the best way to do it is to have an appraisal, formal appraisal by a private appraiser done. And of course that can cost money. And so there are other avenues that you can do. You can, like I said, if it's based on condition, you can take photos, share information with us. If you know of other very, very similar properties that maybe have sold, or there may be some issues, you can share that with us too. But the best way is a private appraisal on the business side or on the residential side as well. But we make changes based on the evidence that's shared with us.
Very good, interesting.
So this is what a finished product would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's this?
So this
This
like,
reminds me of Ferrante's.
like the dipping sauce,
Yeah.
so that can consist of whatever you're liking. Olive oil, garlic salt, garlic, little piece of garlic, onion, more rosemary if you like that.
So a whole bunch of different herbs and spices and different
Yep.
things with olive oil.
Yep, flavor it up.
Should we just put this olive oil in there?
You can,
Oh.
yeah, because it's.
I hate to waste things, if you can tell.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just dip it. You can drizzle it on it.
Yeah.
This is what we baked it in too. This type of seasoning and different things, and it's usually pretty tasty. You can have it, like I said, we had it with our pork and sauerkraut this afternoon, and it's a really good kind of just simple bread that's not very difficult at all to make. You can travel with it. You can do a whole bunch of different things with it.
Even toast it for breakfast.
Even
It's
toast it for
really,
breakfast.
Really,
Yeah.
really good.
So now with our BOR hearings, board revision hearings, let's say the board does agree with your complaint. Now there's a couple different avenues where you can get restitution, where you would actually see that. Now remember, board revision is just for value. So we're asking you, is the value correct? Many times the first thing that people say when they come in or they make a filing is that my taxes are too high. Well, oftentimes I'll ask, well, is your value correct though? Do you think your value for January 1st, what you would put on the market for, is accurate? And 9 times out of 10, they do actually say yes. You know, if we were to sell, that's probably what we would sell it for. Whether or not I have to say, you know, really that's all that we can do. That's our responsibility. That's what the auditor's office does, is determine value, and then you, the taxpayers, vote on levies, which are tax rates, which are then applied to your value, and that's where your tax bill comes from. Now we'll have lots of different discussions. Always have to answer questions on, you know, different distributions of your taxes, where the tax rates. We've got a video up on our website about that too. But we're really here to talk about value. So now changes in value, of course, do lead to changes in taxes. For board of revision wise, because we've already determined tax rates. It's a whole different discussion. We talk about revaluation, and we talk about what that looks like. But for board of revision, let's say we decrease your value. Well, you would receive some funds back. You've already paid your taxes. We always tell folks, encourage people, pay your taxes, and then if you do get a change, we'll either write you a check of the difference of what your tax rate, what your tax and charge would be at $100,000 versus that $60,000, for example. Or we could give you a credit, the Treasurer's Office would give you a credit on your property taxes for the following half. So there's 2 different kind of ways that you can do that too. Now board revision is also for like CAUV. If our office determined that you're no longer farming and we've removed you from the CAUV program, you can challenge that through the board of revision as well. Class changes, you know, if you're Let's say that you just moved into a residence that was a commercial building. This happened actually on Wednesday. You moved into a residence that was a commercial building, now it's residential, you live there, but we still have it classified as commercial. Well, actually there's a difference in tax rates for that. So you want to make sure that information is correct too. But the ultimate thing is to never hesitate to reach out, to call us, look at our website, look at the different step-by-steps, the link here in the video for border revision. It's really helpful to be able to see the different kind of steps and have us walk you through it. We're more than happy to do so. We see a comment here from Mike saying Happy New Year, Mike, and Ryan. They just announced they had a baby, or they're going to have a baby. So congratulations!
Congratulations!
On
Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year. With New Year, this whole process, it's brand new to many folks, and so it can be confusing. You want to make sure you do it right, and we're happy to walk you through that step. So, did we miss anything with our steps here for our bread and for this process?
This is way easier.
This is like, I thought it'd be a lot more in-depth and involved, and
the board
it wasn't.
Yeah, the board of revisions way more involved.
We can make it. We can make border revision. We can make the property values as simple and straightforward. Well, unfortunately, not as quick as this, but in the time it took us to make this, just today is a typical hearing or typical discussion. So we do try and make things as quick for you as possible.
Nice.
But there's a lot involved with it. We're not done with tax rates yet. Unfortunately, last year we had these done before Christmas. This year, with everything going on, we're delayed. So we do apologize for that. Tax bills to the Treasurer's Office hopefully will be mailed out soon once we're done with our tax rates. But we'll keep you updated on those. Take a look at your value. Take a look at what information we have. Make sure it's correct and accurate. And I'll be more than happy to help you through the rest of the process if you decide to challenge that value too. So, anything else? Should I dip it in?
Go for it.
I'm not going to double dip because that's frowned upon. But I will just dip it in there real quick. You want to get some of that seasoning and some of the different things. Like I said, this just reminded me of Fronte's when I was a kid. You go there and they have the I'm dripping. That's tasty. Like very good. I would say won't double dip. Now there's a spoon, and that's where you put the oil and the vinegar and everything else, the seasonings and stuff. So we'll have the recipe up on our website, on social media. We'll also be sharing this video up on YouTube, so you can watch it later if you'd like. Always happy to help you walk through any of these steps. Like I said, or border revision. Reach out to us anytime. Monday through the 31st of March will be the time to file. So hope you have a very Merry New Year, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. This weekend, stay safe, stay warm.
Yes, Happy New Year. Many, many blessings in 2021. Thank you for watching.